Sure.
Rhonda, you got your machine on?
What's the thing about Chief? I got another lady when we get through listening, so we can do it.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the hour has arrived. I call this meeting to order. If you bow your heads, please, we'll have the invocation. Heavenly Father, let our deliberations and actions be acceptable in your sight. Amen. We'll stand, we'll pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Gentlemen, the agenda is before you. Is there any amendments or additions to the agenda? Hearing none, I'm going to suggest one, if you don't mind. We've got there's been a little confusion about the proclamation for our retired teachers. Since everybody is here and we have one that's on the way, we'll be here in just a few minutes. Let's give them just a few more minutes to assemble, and we're going to take care of that. So we're going to just let y'all sit in neutral for just a minute or two, but we will get to you when I think Mr. Claxton's come in. And as soon as he gets here, we'll put y'all back in order. Okay, let's skip down into the item number 4. This is the beer and wine license application for Inmart Clyde's Market. Ms. Bernice, you have all the application, everything in order on that?
Yes, sir, I do. Everything, the report's been ran. He's actually signed all the documents. We've got the original documents, so it is ready to go to be voted on and approved in Thursday's meeting.
Anybody got any questions or any further things we want to mention to get this ready for approval on Thursday night? Hearing none, we'll move on down to item number 5, which is the Housing Authority reappointments. I think Ms. Bernice has had a letter of suggestions for the current member of the Housing Authority relative to those appointments. Will you give us that information?
Yes, sir, I received an email from Ms. Kite, who is over the Housing Authority, and she would like to make 2 reappointments for the Housing Authority Board. One of them being Ms. Tracy McClendon, whose term expired on September the 17th, but they would like to reappoint her to serve for 5 years, which would end September the 17th, 2022. Also, the other reappointment is Mr. Tommy Waters, whose term expired on August the 14th, 2017. They are also asking for a 5-year term with him, ending on August the 14th, 2022. The other members of the board that are not up for reappointment are Jack Floyd, who is the chairman, Lillian Dixon, who is vice chair, and Sarah Lynn Ferguson is the residence commissioner. She just kind of wanted to give us that information on those, but those are the 2 reappointments that they would like for the council to consider.
Okay, you've heard the suggestion of the folks out at the Housing Authority relative to the reappointment of the existing members that's there. Apparently that group's working together real well, and they'd like to keep the group together, and I see no problem with that. Okay, the next item is we've had a good deal of discussion. Our traffic situation with our schools is really, and you people being retired teachers, you ought to know, but really with our transporting of so many of our students in buses and whatnot, traffic around our schools is just horrid in the mornings. And so we've discussed a lot of things, and we're going to discuss a little more tonight. John, you gonna lead this discussion on this four-way stop deal?
Yes, sir. Meanwhile, while we await for the approval of DOT grant funds for the roundabouts, I was wanting to present to the council, after talking with the police chief, if we could go ahead and post some four-way stops at the intersections of Pat Dixon and Collins, and also at Pat Dixon and Charles Rogers.
What is the time's situation on getting our money for our roundabouts?
I believe Tommy was working on that.
Hostetler and Associates is working on it, and Blake, I sent letters, sent you all copies of the letters to our state senator and our three representatives, Blake Tillery, Larichia, Pruitt, Morris, yeah. And Blake happened to call me today, and he said that he will help us. And talked to DOT, and DOT is going to go with something different. And I know that's not true. The last time we voted, you know, I was either 3-1 or 4-1 to seek the funding for the, so anyway, he said he would call, he would take that under advisement, he would call to check on, that's where we are right now. The school board and the county are both on board. Pretty much so.
Hey, what do we want to do? Do you think we've got time to install the, and get utilization out of four-way stops while we're waiting on this, or?
It's gonna be next summer before they can do anything, because they're not gonna do if we get the funding, they wouldn't do the roundabouts until next summer anyway, so, Chief, if you feel like we need it, I'm okay with it. I don't think
We just need to make sure that if we are and everything, we need, before we do it, we need to give ample notification and everything ahead of just sticking a sign up and everything. I mean.
I don't know how you amply notify, we put it in the paper and everything, still
I
don't know how you do it.
It's right as is.
Before you open the intersection this time, already have the rumble strips, have somebody ready to go.
Absolutely.
And do not open it until you have the rumble
I
strips.
agree 100%.
Once the rumble strips were put in, we didn't have any problem
Right.
at all.
Yeah, we got the car on board something now.
Right.
Just need to make sure that Jeff gets the signs in prior to us doing whatever else. If we intend to go ahead and move forward with it, we need to get a hold of Jeff. I don't know who that is now.
It's me. But we don't have to talk to DOT first.
No, these are all city
They're all
streets.
city. They're all city. The only reason we had to get with them, the only reason we got with them on the other one down there was because it was 268. I mean, that was it. They just gave us input. That's really all we did. But like I said, we can get with him and get the proper signage that we're gonna have before, the lights prior, you know, to it, and on it and everything. And make sure he's got it before we pull the trigger or anything.
Well, in this case, do y'all want to make an exception tonight? Because this is a work session planning for Thursday's meeting to make all of our official moves. Do y'all want to just go ahead and instruct Jeff Jones, our street superintendent, to acquire this stuff?
Listen,
I'll talk with him and we just vote on it.
Thursday night.
Thursday night? Okay. All right, we'll be ready to handle this Thursday night. That's good. Okay, I think is all of your folks here now? All right, let's go back and get there. We're delighted tonight, folks, to have retired educators with us. We appreciate all your years of service, and we're delighted as mayor and council to sign this proclamation for you. And if you folks will just come and make a semicircle right here behind all of us, we will we'll get a picture.
Mr. Rainey, did you want to move this one?
Y'all get your,
I've got a steady hand.
Cody, can you call a help coach there? Am I far enough in, or y'all far enough in?
There you go. You gotta put that thing under the table there, man. You see that there.
I think, Cody, are you gonna be able to get everything like this?
Yes, sir.
All right. Let us know when you're ready. Folks.
1, 2, 3. All right.
You think that's sufficient? You've looked at that?
Well, Miss Rhonda's got a backup also.
Rhonda, you got a good one?
I got a pretty good one.
Take
Okay.
a couple more.
No, sir.
One thing
No, sir. I'm not a member.
Wait a minute, folks.
One thing I learned a long time ago, take it 2 or 3 pictures,
I got
because
two.
somebody always blinks their
I
eyes.
got 2. Now we're gonna get a couple more.
All right, let's do it again.
1, 2, 3. All right, gotcha.
All right, now let's, if you would, while you're here, proclamation by the mayor and council of the city of Hazlehurst. The governor of the state of Georgia has proclaimed this day, Sunday, November the 5th, is what we're getting ready for here, as Retired Educators Day in Georgia. And there are more than 120,000 retired educators in Georgia, and 28,000 plus of whom are members of the Georgia Retired Educators Association. Whereas the retired educators of Georgia donate thousands of hours of volunteer service in making valuable contributions to the welfare of their respective communities across the state, and it's appropriate that a day be designated for citizens to express their appreciation for contributions that retired educators have made and continue to make for the betterment of human lives and for society, and local churches will recognize these lasting contributions made by retired educators in this community. Now, therefore, let it be resolved that I, R. Bain Stone, Mayor of the City of Hazlehurst, do hereby proclaim this day, Sunday, November the 5th, 2017, as Retired Educators Day, and I call upon the citizens of Hazlehurst and Jeff Davis County to observe that day in the appropriate manner, honoring our retired educators. In witness thereof, I have hereto set my hand and caused the seal of the city of Hazlehurst to be affixed this day in October of our Lord. Ladies and gentlemen, we are delighted to make this proclamation. We appreciate y'all so much. We're going to sign this and get it all fancied up, put a seal on it for you, and we present it to you. Ms. Bernice, how soon we can get?
I should have it ready tomorrow.
She said she'll have it ready for you tomorrow.
Okay.
And thank you. And by the way, anybody want to make a speech?
We just want to express our appreciation for the Jeff Davis Retired Educators for your assistance and all the help of Jeff Davis County and Hazlehurst people.
Well, we love you and appreciate y'all.
I know, right?
Hurry up.
Good man on that, you know that. Fire them lights up.
All right, thank y'all. If you do want to leave, you would be glad for you to stay, but whatever. Good to have you. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see. I believe we're now on, all right, let's see. I believe, Ken, you wanted at this time to handle 2 or 3 things. You wanted to handle 7, 8,
10, 11, and 12.
Okay, 7, 8, just gonna skip, yeah, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12. Come on and take over, let me know when you get through.
All right. I need to discuss the K-9 for the city, for the police department. K-9 has to go through an annual training to recertify. The handler and the actual dog have to go through. This year, the dog did not meet the criteria for recertification, so we have basically an employee that won't work. And I was not in on purchasing this employee, and I'll just be honest, from the word go, that should have never been to start with. I think it was donated, and I just don't think it was a high quality. I mean, for the cost of it, yeah, I can see it, but not for working. I mean, if you want to say you've got a K-9 that'll hunt narcotics, that's one thing, but if you actually want one that'll go do it, that's another. And I I've called around and got some prices. Of course, I didn't put it in the budget this year because I didn't know I was gonna need a K-9. So, in other words, it's not in my budget to get a K-9. But to get one that will, and I'm not talking about a patrol dog that will attack on command or anything like that. I'm talking about strictly narcotics, about $5,500 is what one costs. And I'm just giving you that. We've got to do something with the one we have now.
What do you propose doing with that one?
I talked to Officer Nelms, and I'll have something more by Thursday night for you. But I talked to him, and he said that there's organizations that will purchase these animals that don't make research, and basically they like give them to wounded soldiers, or or you could donate it to a wounded, what do they call it?
Warriors.
Yeah,
Wounded warriors.
yeah, Wounded Warrior Project, and just for servicemen who. But now he said that he knew of an organization that would actually purchase it. So, and I'll get with him and find out and all that kind of stuff. I just wanted to make you guys aware of what happened, and the handler would have passed, okay? He couldn't research because his animal wasn't, his partner wasn't researched. So they told him up front, look, you don't want to do this and have a failure on your training record. So he didn't research either. So right now we're just we have an animal that we're feeding, but he cannot work because he did not pass.
Does the county have a dog?
They do. They do.
Is it possible for us to share it with that dog, Ken? We're trying to cut,
I understand.
we're trying to cut every expense we can.
It's possible. Yes, sir, it's possible. I'm not gonna say it's not possible, but it's possible.
Okay, we'll move, go ahead.
Number 8, hiring a police officer. I've had, Officer Axon had an accident, which put me, less than another officer. I'm trying to cut overtime every way I can. Just believe me, Councilman Bloodworth he's really talked to me about it and expressed the need to cut overtime, and I've tried, and I need to hire somebody. Here's my problem. I've had one application of somebody that's already mandated, that's already been to school. I need to send somebody to school. In order to do that, though, I got to be able to pay this person to go to school. I mean, it would be just like me. I can't give up a job to quit and go to school and not make any salary. I need you to consider, let's pay somebody, hire them, send them to school. The state will pay for the tuition. We have to pay room and board and for their meals and a salary while they're gone.
For about, as I understand, it's about 12 weeks.
It's the next class is January 4th, and they graduate on the 23rd of March. So that's about, yes, sir, 11 or 12 weeks.
Any your discussion, because I certainly want this to be delayed for any decision for Thursday night, but any questions that you got about it, let's try to get all this worked out tonight so that our session Thursday.
You totally lost the other one?
At this point, yes, sir.
So there's no perceived time to return, or you don't anticipate that?
At this time, I do not see him coming back.
If I may interrupt just a moment, you will be going into
okay.
executive session, and that is one of the matters y'all got to discuss.
As I understand it, there's Deputy McNeil, that when he went off to school, that he came home and worked on weekends, which would give, that would, if we can do that, that might help you with some of your overtime. You see what I'm saying? And he'd earn at least,
Right.
And it lets you learn the ropes, learn the other officers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's what I,
Weren't you supposed to have one go already?
Yes, and he did that, but,
Because of the circumstances,
Because of the
just, that's all
Right.
I needed. I just want to make sure I was.
right. And I actually talked to him today and it's a indefinite, I don't know.
understand.
And he didn't know.
That's fine. I mean, I took, because I thought that was, I was like, but then again, I got to thinking about the whole situation.
Right.
All right.
Any further questions about this matter?
When would you need to know to submit a name for the January class by? What is your deadline?
Probably the 1st of December.
Okay.
I just wanted to,
Right, I understand. I mean, I appreciate that, I do. I mean, I just want to take and find out what kind of timeline we're looking at, you know, we don't want to,
right.
hey, I got to know by tomorrow, you know what I'm
Right.
saying?
It's nothing like that. It's nothing like that.
All right,
And it would be, Tifton is where it would,
amen.
we would go to ABAC.
Any further questions about that item?
I will say this, since the chief brought this to me and I put it on the agenda, I actually went to, and Chief, you may have to help me with these initials, the Georgia State, the Georgia Patrol, anyway, the website. And there is a link on there that talks about tuition-free admission. I would strongly suggest, because I do not know certain things about this, you're in it, but it's something that needs to be looked at because we may have someone to be able to qualify for that in this situation. But I will get the link so that everybody can look at it. And the reason I did that, I was going back and reading minutes and redoing minutes, and that was one of the questions that came up.
If I remember correctly, the tuition and room and board were, of course, included in the last thing we were dealing with, but the salary during this period of time is really the big item of paying them during this time. That's the real expense. The tuition is, I don't know,
And food, right, meal.
And food. I think the meals were gonna be like $900 and the room and board was like 600 and,
So we have to pay the lodging.
right,
Yeah.
yes.
meals and
The
then.
tuition is paid for by the state,
By the
if
state.
they're an employee.
Yeah, so the main cost to us, what I was getting at is the salary
The
during that 12 weeks, yeah. Okay, well, I think we should be ready to discuss and handle this
Okay.
Thursday night. Now, you've got one more item.
Number 10,
Oh, no, you got a couple more.
Deborah Carnegie is the city court clerk, and they're having their annual conference, November 2nd and 3rd. It's just a training, thing. They're having an executive island. Just like to ask you to approve that,
We can prove it.
her going to training.
Okay,
Number 11, I want to send Officer Ben Glosson to a grant writing class in Marietta, Georgia, November 16th and 17th. And I don't know, Ms. Bernice, did you make copies of this paper that I, about the class?
Yes, it should be
Okay,
in there.
okay, you should have it in the packet. It's by Grant Writing USA, and it's at the Cobb County Department of Public Safety Training Center in Marietta, Georgia. Basically, the tuition for the class is $455, and then a hotel is what,
One night, right?
was 9 to 4, so I put him driving up there that morning.
Two nights.
Two nights,
Four, yeah.
2 nights. Just like for you to consider that.
And just on the grant writing classes and everything else, and is this so you will have someone that can take and apply for these grants that we have been
Yes.
getting in the past?
And write them from scratch.
Write them from
It's
scratch,
what-
everything?
Where we can help fund our
I
department
understand.
for bulletproof vests, for anything we need, equipment we need, patrol cars maybe. There's money there, you just gotta know how to ask it and how to word it and where to go.
Now, and let me ask this other question too, and I'm asking Dwayne and Tommy down on the other end too. The persons that do the grant writing for us and everything, as far as for our, CDGBs, GFIS, and whatever else and everything, are their services also available to us to help with this kind of thing, or is it just something that we need to, we've done it in-house in the past, I understand that, I'm not saying no, that ain't what I just want to know. Is this something
I think the RDC probably would be,
RDC?
yeah, it would help, those departments. I don't know if our grant writer, this thing would be big enough
Right.
for them to take their time in order to do it. But if it's something like that, you need them to write it, but, it's good to have somebody, but the RDC, all the time comes out with things to help fire department, police department, and they definitely would help.
Chief, do
Because
you,
we paying for that already.
But then, and there are others, well, I think we're paying for it, but I think that once the grant is awarded, they administer the grant and they get paid out of the grant for that.
Oh, yeah.
So they make money, and so does associates at local
Right.
county government. So this thing, there's nothing to administer. You see what I'm saying?
I said,
And it
I
might be more
understand that,
difficult.
right?
Yeah.
And I said, Charles, Chief Wasman, you do most of your own grants and everything that you apply through and whatever else. And once he's got a good basic idea, then we've got some in-house help too. And I went through a grant writing class. My biggest thing is I wanted to know when I looked at the grant, what I was doing, what we were getting, why we were getting it, and how we got it, and everything else. Because I couldn't go back, I had nothing to go back and look at. I had nothing to do. But now, once we do this, then he'll have some in-house help too, like I said with Charles, and we can take and look through it and make sure everything's, the I's are dotted, T's are crossed, and whatever it is. So.
And is this grant writing just for law enforcement, or is it anything? And the reason I ask that, I'm just thinking that if,
This is not just for law enforcement.
Okay, well,
This is just,
if he could learn it, he could help with other areas of the city. Okay.
yes.
Some of you guys from RDC they'll go to classes like this as well.
Oh, yeah. Sarah Davis and Phil Davis, they go to them also.
Yeah, this is not a law enforcement class,
I got
it's
you.
just,
Happens to be at the public safety
right,
training
that's
center.
just we're posting it at.
Just
Right.
sponsoring it.
Okay, any further discussions relative to this item? Okay, I think we've got all of your stuff, familiar with this.
You got a parade
Um,
on
You
the
want to
12th?
that as well?
You got, I can.
Yeah, okay.
Beth Davis from the, high school. They're having a homecoming parade
This week,
Thursday, October the 19th.
this week.
And I went around and got signatures on it. I'm just letting you know this is for, final approval on the parade. It's the same route from the football field around town and back to the football field.
Okay, I'm
It's
gonna
been
ask,
approved in the past, but
I'm gonna ask us to make an exception on this, is just for, praise at 7 o'clock Thursday night, we'll be sitting here at that time. I entertain a motion that we approve this, request for the parade permit.
Motion.
Mr. Griffiths made a motion that we approve the permit, is there a second? Second. Second by Mr. Bloodworth, any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? If none opposed, the permit is granted, we'll have the other items Thursday night. Okay, now where did we skip, y'all help me?
One, go back to number 9.
Okay, I didn't realize that, about this item number 9, this is a discussed invoice from Douglas Asphalt for Pineland Avenue, and I didn't know anything about this, but I saw it on here, and then I began to dig, look, and I finally came up with what happened. And I was involved in it. Now, why, Bernice says that this invoice is what, a year old, or over?
Yes, sir. It says November the 4th, 2016, but we did not receive this invoice in our hands until Thursday.
So I don't understand that, and it shocked me because I had the time going back and remembering all this. But our community development block grant over in the Douglas Street area, which is out beyond the hospital on the right, we had a CDBG in there that did all the sewer work and then resurfacing. And when they got to the resurfacing of the streets after they had cut them all up and down everywhere, Pineland is at the very end street going down by the old, what I call the Nursery Hardware place, Mana Restaurant. We even had Cross Street had already been resurfaced. And when they finished the resurfacing of all of those streets running parallel to the Douglas Highway, they left Pineland down there. It was the only thing in that area that had not been resurfaced and fixed. And it was not in real bad shape, but at each of the intersections where they came out, there was, and particularly on the Snipesville Highway and the Douglas Highway, it was very rough. So I got them to look at it, and I said, I'd like for you, I said, I first asked them to help me with it, and there wasn't any help in them. So I got them to give me the estimate on taking and blending those in and striping. Everything was going to be striped and new in that whole area, except that one area. And at that time, financial circumstances were not as they are today, and we had a right sizable sum in our street splosh. And I asked them to go in there and finish that job and stripe that area so that that entire area is fixed, will not need resurfacing or any work done for some time to come. And that's what that invoice is. Why we're just now getting it, Lord knows, I don't know.
But the paving and the restriping was part of the CDBG grant?
Not on Pineland.
Not on Pine?
And it was left down there isolated by itself and having some real rough spots in it, and everything else would be restriped. And so I just couldn't see and as busy as that street is, I couldn't see it being left down there by itself.
But the CDBG has been taken care of, right?
Oh, yes.
And
This
this with I mean, for almost a year, to just come in now. Don't we need to look at this and make sure nothing else don't come in like this?
Well,
I mean, it sounds like it's the company and not us, but that's what I'm saying, you just can't wait and let an invoice come in a year later.
I don't know, I really can't tell you what happened. I don't know. I don't know. I do know that after, like I say, I couldn't believe it. I said, what in the world is going on? But when I got with it and got back and remembering back a year ago, there's been a lot of resurfacing work done since then. And they were stopping, and this whole time I was in a mess. And I said, for goodness sakes, and I came up and checked our street splosh balance, and it was very healthy at the time. And I just couldn't see them leaving that mess on the end of those streets down there. Now, why would I've been waiting down to Billis, and like I say, it hit me plumb cold when I saw it on here. And I thought it was Joey Hires, but that's Georgia Asphalt Producers. And this is Joey Dennison's group that did the CDBG down there.
Madam Clerk, can you just call to find out why it was so late before our first meeting?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
If I'm not able to, I'll get the girls. I'll get the
Okay,
girls.
and me, it hit me cold too, so I'm about as shocked about it as you are. Okay, we've got number 10, and we've got number 11, and we've got number 12. All right, Ms. Bernice, are you handling the cancer risk walk?
Yes, sir. I had a young lady, Miss Jasmine Denny, to come in and ask about the American Cancer Society Breast Cancer Walk to be held October the 21st, which is Saturday. And I believe she had approached Chief Williams about getting the okay. And my understanding is that Chief Williams did give his okay. Basically, this is the same route that a lot of other walks have been held at. And of course, Chief Williams is going to make sure that, you know, there'll be check-ins and that kind of thing. If you actually look on the map, you're going to see starred areas. Well, they'll have checkpoints for water. They're going to have nurses out there to make sure nothing happens to the people. And it will actually be held from 10 until 2 o'clock that day. And they would just like for the council to formally approve this. And of course, I told her, I said, I really should have received it last month so that it would have been handled properly. And she made her apologies, but this is what that's for.
When October 21st, when Saturday?
That would be Saturday.
this coming Saturday. We got time to, do we need to approve it tonight, y'all, or should we wait till Thursday, or what would you suggest?
Let's approve it tonight.
Just wait.
Oh, never mind.
What?
Like he said,
Go ahead, I mean,
What'd you say?
I just said approve it tonight, but I mean,
Okay, well, I don't think it matters to me. Okay, I entertain a motion that we approve the breast cancer walk on the 21st from 10 a.m. in the morning till 2 p.m.
make
Is
that
there,
motion.
you made the motion, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Johnson. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries, so you can go ahead and notify that that's taken care of. Okay, the next item is reviewing the garbage and trash report, water sewer adjustments, the check register, and so forth. I think, is anybody got any questions about those items? Okay, any of the folks out in the audience got any burning things they want to bring up or discuss? Employees or citizens? Ms. Rhonda, that's here.
Bernice, did you get the email from, the lady with Gma about the golf course meeting? in
Yes, I
Dublin?
did. Yes,
Okay. November the,
yeah, I got it. I won't be able to go.
what day that was.
What's the,
I've not gotten an email.
when is it, Robin?
I'm
November
looking, hold on.
21st, I believe. It's in where, Centerville? Something like that.
Apparently I didn't save it when I put it in. I think it was the 21st, Mayor,
I think so too.
but it's in November.
Yeah.
I'll let y'all know after the
It's
meeting.
on
I'll
my
find it on the
computer.
email.
We stop by, I'll put it up.
I'll see you tomorrow.
All right. Any further discussion? Anything else, Rhonda?
That's it.
Anybody else? Mr. Ramey, you got the words of wisdom for us?
I seek to learn from y'all, great council.
I got a question for you. Did you do grant writing in your duties this?
No, I did
Well, the
not.
school system had grant writing.
Yes, we do have grant writers, and they are extremely important.
You're right.
Okay, anything else? Hearing none, we're now for mayor and commissioner comments. Council?
I'm very pleased, thank you.
That's mighty nice, Mr. Bloodworth. And you got a nice smile on your
Yes,
face.
thank you.
That's good.
That's the devil.
Mr. Griffin, under his breath, said, something's wrong. Okay, all right, hearing none, they tell us that we've got a little personnel matter that needs to be, give us some attention. That's an item or two that's sort of rotten and beginning to smell, so it appears, I need a motion if we go into executive session.
Make a motion to executive session.
Mr. Bloodworth made the motion, we go into executive session to discuss personnel. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Johnson. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be gone for a little while. We'll see you when we get back.
You all right here?
I was trying to make sure all of them halfway to where we go to me coming from there.
Entertain a motion?
Make a motion, we come back to, regular session from executive session.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Bloodworth. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We're back in regular session. The deliberations in executive session resulted in no recommendation or no action. Mr. Johnson?
So move, let's go on.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
What you got going on tomorrow?
Y'all see y'all?
How are you tonight?
All right.